Hello guys, Kachuba here, back with another video. Okay guys, so today I want to talk about this Floyd Shivambu thing, of him either potentially leaving the MK or still being in the MK, but there being issues, and you know the issues with him, well the issues that apparently are happening between him and the former president Jacob Zuma and that sort of thing. Right. Okay, so this is where I want to start with this. Firstly, for me, anything or anytime I sense chaos in the ANC, the EFF, or the MK, I get excited. I'm happy because I don't like all three of those parties. Because firstly, they are all the same thing. It's all the ANC, and it's all people who are corrupt, and it's people who don't have the best interest of South Africans at heart. That's where I start. So whenever there's issues there, I'm excited because that means those things are being destroyed and they're destroying themselves. Just like Oliver Tambo once said, that when the ANC takes over South Africa one day, no other political party will remove the ANC from power. It's going to be the ANC that will destroy itself. So for the past, give or take 15 years, we've been seeing that prophecy, and it clearly was that prophecy from the former ANC president Oliver Tambo coming true. That manifestation, right, in the last 15 years, we've been seeing it, basically. So, Floyd Shivambu enters the MK and becomes the SG. First of all, I don't care how much they try to sugarcoat it. That MK is a tribalistic thing, right? There's a reason why its stronghold is in KZN. It's almost like wondering whether the IFP is a tribalistic party. Obviously it is. We all know it is. So why should we act like it isn't? It's obviously a tribalistic party. The ANC is not tribalistic. The DA isn't. The EFF isn't, right? It's not tribalistic. But the IFP and the MK are tribalistic. So some of us already knew that a version of this turmoil of the MK and Floyd Shivambu would happen in some form. I could have not predicted that it would happen like this, but I knew that this will happen in some form, in some way, because firstly, I am from the province of KZN, right? It's not to say that all the people from KZN are tribalistic. They aren't. Not all of them. But a large majority of them are. Right? That's the first thing. And secondly, Zulu people do not like an arrogant human being. Right? They don't. Even though a lot of Zulus are arrogant. But they don't like someone who is arrogant, which is weird. Right? But that's just the point. So Floyd Shivambu is extremely arrogant. Extremely arrogant. Right? So already I knew that this thing is going to blow up in some form, in some way. So I listened to the former president talking, was it the June 16th speech that he made? But he made a speech recently. He said something about how the MK is not about big names, and how the MK is not about, it's not about like, if you're a big name, it doesn't matter how, like, who you are, will discipline you if you need to be disciplined, that type of thing. So he didn't specify who he was talking about, but he was probably talking about Floyd, right? So that's the first thing there. You must remember that these people have a history, right? Jacob Zuma was the president when Floyd and Julius left the ANC, right? And Floyd was one of the most vocal people in the parliament, saying pay back the money to the president. So they gave Jacob Zuma a very hard time. So Jacob Zuma may have been the person who brought Floyd in the MK. That's what we heard. That's what we know. I don't know if that's true, right? I don't think it's true, but let's just say it is. But I wouldn't be shocked if Jacob Zuma is still bitter about the hard time that those young guys gave him when he was the president, with this pay back the money stuff and just going hard at him in the parliament, because they did. You see, made him seem incompetent and. You see. So when that old man gets a chance to stick one back at Floyd, I think he would take. I almost said he would naturally take it, but I don't know if it's natural, but he would take it. You see, so the Floyd was always destined to leave the MK somehow, right? If he hasn't left already, he will leave. And apparently, someone told me that he said he wants to do something where he talks to different leaders in society, Ivan Koza, Kazam Taung, he mentioned some other people and so on, but it's not a political party. We're not stupid. The guy is just laying the foundations of a political party. He can't go back to the ANC, he can't go back to the EFF. He realizes he made a mistake by joining the MK. So now he's testing the waters to see if ever he'll have a large enough following for him to be able to actually start and officially call it a party. Remember, this thing of starting a political party is not easy. Ask Ace Magashule. He started his own political party. It's nowhere. It's rubbish. So Floyd sees things like that, right? He knows how hard it was to start the EFF, even though he was one of the leaders in the EFF, even though the EFF has a firebrand like Julius, but it's still hard. The EFF is still just a 12% national party or less, I think. I don't know, around there. So he doesn't back. He probably does not fully back himself to start a new political party yet, right? So he's scared. So he's testing the waters. That's fine. That's natural. You're allowed to test the waters and so on. If ever it catches, he'll probably go hard and actually call it a political party and so on. But I just wanted to say that I'm happy, man, when I see chaos in the ANC or the EFF or whatever. These people have messed up the country, bro. It's so hard to see people unemployed, young people, bro, who are supposed to be adding value to South Africa in some form of way. Their lives are just being wasted. Black, white, Indian, colored, everyone. People's lives just being wasted because of the ANC. And when I say ANC, I'm including the EFF and the MK because it's the same people, right? I'm not just talking about the ANC as it is right now, right? So I'm happy. And I have no issues with these politicians individually or their families. I just have an issue with their politics, right? These people just care about themselves and they don't care about the country. They really, really don't care about the country. I'm a person who's a firm believer, by the way, that even the so-called people who liberated South Africa, not the ones that were arrested in Robben Island, every other character, including the president, by the way, people like that, the only reason they so-called worked to liberate South Africa politically was because they were jealous of what the National Party had. So in other words, the primary reason was not to liberate the majority of non-whites, right? And even liberate whites. Because think about it, white people themselves needed some form of liberation because the apartheid system was not sustainable, right? And a lot of white people knew that years before 94. So somehow they needed a way to get out of that system without there being a total war in South Africa. You see? So a lot of white people were relieved at how we made a transition, which makes sense, right? But the primary reason for a lot of the ANC people was not to liberate, but it was to eat and loot, because they thought in their minds that the National Party was all about eating and looting. Now, I'm not going to say to you that the National Party was not eating or even looting, but I'll tell you one thing, that under the National Party, South Africa was built. The same South Africa that is still the best country in Africa was built by the National Party, whether you like it or not. Listening to this, whether you like it or not, it's a fact. It was built by the National Party, right? And even if those guys were eating in some form of way, right? Which I personally doubt, by the way. But anyway, let's just say they were, right? They still built the country. If ever a road had to be built with R1 million, they used 9 million to build it. And 8 million. The BEE South African guys are using 1 million. Or using 4 million and eating 6. Right? Because he has to kick back to the politician. He has to kick back to the manager in that department. He has to kick back to someone else. You understand? To the police, or that must protect him against the construction mafia. It's all about it's all a kickback game. You understand? So the biggest reason why I don't want the EFF and the MK anywhere close to governing is because they just want their turn at looting. So when people like Floyd are in tatters, I'm happy because that means he's far away from the till. That's all. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to give that opinion. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and give me your opinion on these videos. And yeah, especially your comment, guys. Any comment, I'll appreciate that. A like, I'll appreciate that. Subscribe, obviously. And yeah, I'll continue making these videos, guys. Cheers.